Welcome to another episode of Naija Real Estate Matter with Latana. And of course, I am Goodness Usman, your fab lady realtor for Naija Realty 24. I just want to use this medium to appreciate once again everyone that has stick with me on this channel. They're consistently watching all of my videos. And please, if this is your very first time, I want to encourage you to subscribe to this YouTube channel so that you don't miss out on other insightful and educative topics that will bring to you on this channel. Okay, so today I'm going to be talking about land documentation and sizes. Yes, over time we get these frequently asked questions. People ask all of the time, what is the documentation? What does it entail when you're buying a land or when you're buying a house? What is the documentation that is entailed? In fact, I realized that if some investors mix it up, they mix land title up with land documentation. Now, land documentation is way different from land titles. In my previous video, I have spoken on the different kinds of land titles that is obtainable in the real estate market in Nigeria, especially in Lagos. But today I am talking about land documentation and of course land sizes. So I'll start with the land sizes. There are different kinds of land sizes that is being used in the real estate sector in Lagos, Nigeria, and it differs. The way lands have been measured in Lagos is very different from every other places in Nigeria, in Africa. Yes, it's different. If you take, for instance, Ogun State still have lands primarily measured at 645 square meters, 348 square meter, by the way. Now, they don't just even do square meter. It is in Lagos that is common. Lagos, some places in Abuja that is common in square meter. In most of these other places, they are used to plots, a plot of land, and some is primarily measured as 120 by 120, some 120 by 100. However, in Lagos State, it is not obtainable in most cases. So I'll give you the common land sizes that you will frequently come across in Lagos State. First, like I said, lands are now measured primarily in square meters in Lagos State. So you can see a lot of realtors, a lot of real estate agents telling you per square meter. They can tell you 10,000 naira per square meter, 20,000 naira per square meter, 50,000 naira per square meter, etc., etc., as the case as it were. So you know that you can buy 10 square meter, you can buy 300 square meter, you can buy 40 square meter. So it's no longer measured in plots primarily. Yes, it's becoming to be a trend where you only buy per square meter, and that's why some of the land documents that we're going to be talking about today, you will be paying them in square meter. So I see a lot of investors get a bit agitated when they realize that these lands are sold in square meter, no longer necessarily in plots. And that's why you're seeing that predominantly now in some areas in Lagos, we have 500 square meters being measured as a plot, as against having 600 square meter, having 648 square meter. Some places, it's not common though. Some they used to be 700 square meter. But in Lagos now, you will find it's becoming a norm where lands are now being measured in 500 square meter. And now, hold on, these places are only in the fast-growing prime places where are becoming prime. Places like VI, Ikoyi, Lekki. We have places in Ikeja. You have places like Magodo. You have places like the Lekki Phase 1, downward Ikate, going downward Chevron Aziz, coming downward Aja, Shango, Tedo. You're now beginning to have plots in those areas specifically in square meter. So that way you can buy any amount of square meter you want depending on what the developer intends to sell. Some developer will not sell anything below 200 square meter or 300 square meter. So you're going to be paying per square meter. However, we still have developers in these areas who still say per plot. But when they say a plot, please ask the right question. What do you mean a plot? Is it 600 square meter or 500 square meter? Because largely in these areas that I've talked about, I've mentioned, what you will find now for 600 for a plot is 500 square meter. I can see somebody saying that's crazy. Yeah, but hey, it's becoming the trend. And let me now explain in defense to some of these developers, not all of them though. Because of the rate of these properties, they a lot of times cannot sell at 600 square meter, because when they buy a maybe say 5 hectares, they need to remove some plots, reserve some, not reserve, they need to take away some plots for road network, for some basic infrastructures to be provided to the estate. So giving you 600 square meter might not work for them, so they rather sell to you at 500 square meter. So that's another part where you can have a bit of an understanding on this. And because majorly because those places are expensive, that's why you have 500 square meter. Now we still have places like Ibejuleki, where of course the way of father has is the Kurudu, where the fast developing Badagry, Festac, even Festac now you really hardly can get a plot of land that is measuring 600 square meters. So places where there are still subs that are fast growing, you will find your 600 square meter. In fact, in the way of that, you will still find 645 Shimawa, you will find 648 square meters. And of course, in places in Abeokuta, places like Ibadan, the sub areas in your state, you will find even way beyond, above rather, 600 square meter. So I hope you understand the difference now. Majorly where you find 500 square meters or be measured in square meters are places that are prime, and of course those that are close to prime locations where the lands are primarily expensive, like places in Naija now that begin to fall in that axis, which is a pointer for you to know that you're buying into a prime property, and it's important you buy into it now, because if you further wait, it will get more expensive, more and more and more. All right, so that's it on that. But one thing that is constant on the land measurement is the 300 square meters. So 300 square meters seems to be basics now. So when you find a developer selling a particular estate for you at a plot for 500 square meters, you will see the 300, the half plot will consistent. There's a consistent with all of these developers where you will see the land measuring 300 square meters. And now that's why you will see the difference. So if they are selling an estate for 500 square meters for 21 million naira, for the sake of this conversation, half of 21 million naira is what? Is 10.5, but you will not find them. They won't sell the 300 square meter to you at 10.5. They will sell it at maybe 11.5 or 12 million naira, because they are measuring it per square meter, and 300 square meter is way beyond half of 500 square meter. So I just need to clear that out. So like I said, these are from the frequently asked questions that we get from investors almost every day. So people need to be clear about this. So I hope you understand this the way I've explained it. You see the difference, right? Now you understand the difference in price from a half plot to a full plot. Because some people will feel that if you're selling a full plot for me in Meridian Boulevard now in Naija for 17.5 million naira, automatically I should get the half plot for half of that price. No, you won't. You get it slightly above, because the half plot is not 250 square meter, it is 300 square meter. So that's why you have that difference. I'll take another example. Queen's Garden in Sherry North in Bega, Opik. It's selling for 15 million naira per plot of 500 square meter, but the half plot is selling at 8.5 million as against 7.5 million. Do you understand that? Because it's a 300 square meter. Now, I know a lot of people still don't not understand this square meter thing. They are still used to the 50 by 100, 100 by 60, 120 by 60. Now, the 120 by 60 is the normal measurement, land measurement that a whole lot of people are used to, especially the old school people. They are used to that. Now 60 by 100, which is what I was talking about. For you to get a 60 by 100 now, hey, by 120, by the way, 60 by 120 is almost not obtainable anywhere in Lagos again. What we have in Lagos now is 60 by 100. That's the 600 square meter. 60 by 120 is way beyond 600 square meter, which is what I explained earlier. So if you're going to find that, probably might find that in Mowe or Father, maybe some part of Shimawa, in Abeokuta, you understand? All right, so now I hope I've been able to explain to you the difference between the land sizes and all of that. So like I said, some people understand it by 100 by 60. So what we have obtainable is 100 by 60. Now it depends on the real estate estate rather. It depends on the estate at which you're buying the land. Some are 100 by, the fact that they are all measuring 600 square meter does not mean that they are all 100 by 60. These are dimension thing. So it might be 100 by 60 in this particular estate, and the other estate can be, say, 100 by 50 or 120 by 50. Sorry, that's the way. So some of them are by 50, some of them are by 60. So the right question to ask is, let this real estate developer or the realtor you're dealing with explain their own size in your own terminology. But I've just broken it down for you. It's either you have the 100 by 60, which is 600 square meter, or you have it as 100 by 50, which is the 500 square meter. All right, so I'll go quickly into the land documents. Now, I've noticed that some people misunderstand land document with land title. I explained earlier, it's way different, and I have a previous video where we talked about land titles, right? So now land document starts from the form that you're filling. You know, when you're buying a house or you're buying a property, or a land, depending on who you're buying it from, but majorly if you're buying from a real estate company, you will be filling a form, right? A commitment form. You fill a form, a subscription form. Some call it subscription form, some call it commitment form, depending on the terminologies that are using. But what I know is you're filling a form to start where your data are being captured. So land documents start from that. When they capture that land and your data, by the time you fill that form, when you now make payment, those are the things you will submit to the company, and they can start to start the process of confirming your payment, giving you receipt. So basically, I would say it all starts from that. Documentation had already begun when you're filling that form, but it legally starts from you getting your land receipt, your invoice, your deed of contract, not your main deed. Now there's always a deed of contract or a contract of sale, depending on who you're buying from, telling you if there's a contract of sale or deed of contract. Some people will call it deed of contract, some will call it contract of sale. Now you see these documents. Like I said, I'm not a lawyer, but from the experience and from what I know, even a lawyer will confirm this to you. The land document starts with this. So people think it's only when you get your deed of assignment that's where the documentation has begun. No, the documentation has started all the way from the first receipt that is issued to you. Let me give you an example. In those days, our forefathers, they don't even have too much documentation. Some of them only have receipts. That's why you see that maybe your father or your parents' houses or your grandparents' houses, by the time you go and look for the document involved, majorly what you will find is just a receipt of transaction. So it's a legal document. Please confirm with your lawyer. You will know that they will confirm this to you. It's a legal document, a land receipt, a receipt given to you that, okay, capturing the amount you have paid and all of that is a land receipt. It's a legal document. Now let me give you an example. When you ask for a land that has a COO or a house that has a COO, if they're sending the COO document to you, the first page you see is a receipt. It shows the details of the person and they have paid the exact amount. So a receipt is a legal document. So when we're talking about land documentation, it begins with the receipt. Your receipt, your invoice, your deed of contract or contract of sale, as it were, it's very key document that you must have in all this land documentation. Even house. You're buying a house, a receipt will be issued to you even before you have your deed itself, before you now get to the deed. So please stop thinking that it's only when you have a deed of assignment that's when you have a legal document between you and the real estate developer. No, from your receipt you already have a real estate document. Yes, they have different the rate at which they are powerful is way different, right? But what I'm saying is you can't even show a deed without having the receipt and the invoice. So that invoice you're holding on to, that receipt you're holding on to, that deed of contract or contract of sale is also a powerful document. In some cases, offer letter, you have offer letter, you have offer of acceptance of offer. Do you understand? And by the time you have acceptance of offer, you definitely, of course, have a receipt, you have an invoice, and then you have your deed. So it is a power. Those are the documents involved when you talk about real estate transactions. Maybe land, maybe houses, deed of sublease. For houses, you have deed of sublease. For land, is deed of contract. So you have deed of sublease, you have deeds of assignment. In land, is deed of assignment, but in houses, is deed of subcontract or sublease, or depending on, like I said, these terminologies are just, depending on the real estate company or the real estate developer you're dealing with. So I hope I've not been able to confuse you. I hope you understand what I'm talking about. But if you need more explanation, you can just put it in the comment section or send me a direct message, and I can always, go one-on-one, explain it to you more detail. Because it's a video, I can't do too much detail because I don't want the video to be too long. Now, so those are the common documents you'll find around any real estate transaction. Those are the ones I've mentioned. I'm not sure I've omitted anyone. So that's update on land documents. Now, let me also go further to explain why it is important for you to also pay for land documents. Because some people don't want to, they always find it difficult. They feel like the price is too expensive. We call it other fields. So apart from buying the house or buying the land, you have to find out what the other fields are. And for the part of documentation is deed of assignment and survey. So now, like I explained, you get your invoice, you get your deed of contract or deed of assignment or deed of sales, depending on the terminology that you use, and you get your invoice and your receipt, right? Now, or letter of acknowledgement, so many. That's basic what you get. Now, when you get that, you're also going to get others. Those are the first level. The second level is your survey and, of course, your deed of assignment, maybe your deed of sublease if you're buying a house. Do you understand? So there's a difference between these two. Now you pay for those. A lot of people, a lot of investors from this experience, they find it difficult to pay for those. They feel like it is too expensive, it is too this, it is too that. Hey, this is for your own good. You're buying a land, you're not paying for the survey, you have not completed the circle of that transaction. Yes. Because that survey will show the exact portion of your land, to show you your land coordinates. When you want to do a verification on a particular property you want to buy, how you will say, I want to send my survey. How you would always be advised to go send a surveyor to site to pick the coordinates, right? Now, when you buy that land or you buy that house, the coordinates of which of your particular plot will be on your survey, and that's the essence of you. That's one of the important things. If you don't have the survey in your name, how would you know that this is your own? The plot number will be there, the address will be there, the coordinates most especially of the land, the exact size, you will see it on that survey. So it is for your own good to pay for survey and deed of assignment. The deed of assignment is what is admissible in court. Is what is also used for those that are buying lands in C or O. Is what is going to be used for your governor's consent. And that's why you find out that most of the deed of assignments for C or O lands are not dated, because you're not yet applying for your consent. So your deed is as powerful as anything. In fact, it's the beginning and the end among all it all. So you will not want to pay for agreement. Some people call it, so yes, that reminds me. Some people call it agreement fee. Some don't call it they don't call it deed of assignment, some call it agreement fee. So whether it's agreement or deed, it's important that you pay for the survey and agreement. The extension of it is the developmental phase. That's why you're buying into an estate. If you're not buying from an estate, you're buying from a money, then that's a different ballgame. But hey, it's also important that you pay for this because you want to stay in a developed estate, or you want your property to be within a developed estate because it's going to give you more return on your investment. It's going to make your land, your property appreciate further. If you buy a property where there's no development, there's no good infrastructure, it will not appreciate, it will differ. A property that is in a structured environment, in a very where they have good infrastructures, it will appreciate more than where there's no good infrastructure. So those are the reasons why you have to pay. Yes, some of these things. Remember how I was explaining how some lands are measured in square meter. The same way this developmental fee is measured in square meter, because they're going to service you per square meter that you own. It's not fair for them to have a general amount for somebody that is owning 3 plots and somebody that is just owning 1 plot, or somebody that is owning 300 square meter. It's very, very important. However, on my next episode, because like I said earlier, I don't want this video to be too long. I'm going to be addressing the key importance, the technical importance of having your deed, paying for your deed of assignment, paying for your survey, how your survey looks, what are the details, the full details that you see on a survey, and the different kind of survey. There are surveys that are ordinary surveys, there are surveys that are registered surveys. Those details I will pick up it as to discuss on another episode. So is paying for developmental fee, why you should pay and why you should not pay. I will address that in another episode. So you see why it is important for you to subscribe to this YouTube channel, for you to also turn on your notification button so that you don't miss those details. I cannot come here and talk about everything in one episode. We have to break it into episodes so that we can give you details. I don't want you to also assume, because like I said, I've talked about the basic one now. There are other ones I need to dissect so that you can have a full understanding. But I can't talk about it here. I'll talk about it in the next episode. That's why it's important for you to subscribe and turn on your notification button. I remain your girl, Latana. Yes, of course, Goodness Usman, your fab lady realtor. Once again, thank you for watching this episode and previous ones. And if you have missed the previous ones, please you can just go back and go scroll on our page and watch the other previous episodes. And if you have any question whatsoever or any suggested topic you want to address, maybe you don't understand some things regarding real estate transactions in Nigeria, in Lagos, Nigeria, and you want me to address it, please put it in the comment section, and I promise you I will treat this as a subject in the next episode. But until then, I'll see you guys on the next episode. Don't forget, the name of the show is Naija Real Estate Matter with Latana. So remain awesome. Thank you once again, and I say bye.